welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm here with a very special guest. This is my husband. He also goes by Whimsical Hubby. We are hanging out in the kitchen. Anyways, we hang out here a lot because the last couple months we have been making
HelloFresh dinners.
HelloFresh dinners. We also do Martha Marley spoon and sometimes plated, but we kind of got mad at them and gave it up. Anyway, so we get these little recipe cards and then these meals come to us. Everything you need to cook the recipes. This is what we had tonight. And then we cook them together, and we've been losing weight and having tons of fun. I've been putting it on my Instagram. And I think the coolest part is, besides for it's like a new hobby where we're spending time together, I think the coolest part is we're learning a lot about cooking and a lot about healthy eating. So today's episode, I thought we'd talk about the 10 just really quick tips, tricks, favorite things that we've learned about since beginning this journey. So we're going to kind of go back and forth. Another thing I've learned about is that almost every single recipe we've cooked requires salt and pepper. So we've gone through, like, I think we bought this when we first started, and we've almost used the entire thing. Usually I don't even go through one of these in a whole year, but every single recipe calls for fresh salt and pepper, and I just didn't know how important it is to cooking. Like, I always grew up and it seems like those were the only spices my mom ever cooked with, and I thought everything was so bland. But I think depending on how much you put in, when you put it in, I mean, it really adds to the flavor. So the power of salt and pepper.
Something I've learned is that it's good to have a nice apron on. You don't want to ruin any shirts or pants that you have. I have a bunch of white shirts that I can't wear anymore because I didn't have an apron. And now I have a collection, and I have no excuses.
I think he's going to start his own clothing line of aprons.
Another thing I've learned is that the fresh herbs are not something you want to cut your budget on or pass up on. Fresh herbs are very, very fragrant, and they can really, really change a meal. Like, here's just some thyme leaves in a bottle. This thing in our town costs $5 to $10, depending, and getting the fresh herbs really just transforms a whole entire meal.
Yeah, that's been really new, cooking with these fresh herbs. In fact, we even bought an herb stripper, and I had no idea, like, how flavorful fresh herbs off the stem are. I mean, I don't even taste our spices anymore. I only taste it when there's, like, fresh herbs, and that's something HelloFresh is really good about. And all the food boxes we've had, they always send you a little box and the herbs are still on the stem. And I've learned so much about them.
And also, sorry, put that finger away.
All right.
Also, like, the herbs.
I'll put it on you.
The herbs also, like, whatever kind of food you're making, like if you're making, Mexican food, throwing cilantro on everything is, I mean, it's basically like a nice salt and pepper, but it's a nice
We've
fresh
had
tasting
so
herb.
many recipes, though, that, I mean, like, I never knew what rosemary was used for. And, like, the cilantro, it doesn't just go on Mexican food. It goes on a lot of different, it goes on so many different dishes that we've cooked. We haven't had very many Mexican recipes, but there's been a lot of recipes with cilantro. A lot of recipes that surprised me. Maybe we'll go over those in a different video. Okay, almost every recipe calls for olive oil or vinegar or both. And so we stocked up on the 3 main kinds of vinegar. I believe red vinegar, white vinegar, rice vinegar. I think those are the 3.
Rice vinegar is more for sticky rice, but I think we did apple cider vinegar.
Apple cider vinegar, yeah. Like, you got to get all the vinegars, and they're so cheap, but they're in almost every recipe. I would say that it's only $1 or $2 for a big old bottle, and a lot of recipes call for it. Martha Stewart now, like, HelloFresh sends you the little bottles of vinegar, but Martha Stewart Marley Spoon boxes do not send you the vinegar. So if you don't have all those weird types, then you'll kind of be SOL. This is the weekend. I could be naughty. I am loving your next tip that I found.
This is a made-for-TV product, and it has made my life so much better. It's the Garlic Master. I am not being paid by these people, but
Should we bring it up a little closer?
yeah,
Garlic
this thing you just
Master.
throw your garlic cloves in there, and you just turn it, and it comes out with these cute little diced
Yeah, they're like
cubes.
these little squares.
Yeah, it's perfect for mincing garlic.
Where do you put it in?
You just break it.
Oh, I probably just did. You fix it. Here. I broke the Garlic Master while talking about it. So we're trying to fix it. Oopsies. We fixed the Garlic Master, and by I really hate your face right now. By we, I mean Whimsical Hubby. Anyways, I broke the Garlic Master. We already talked about it. We're going to move on to something else. Let's put it back in the drawer. You stop. We've definitely been eating foods that we normally don't eat. Couscous. We had couscous tonight. Seems like we have couscous a few times a week. A lot of kale. Like every time there's a salad, it's made from kale. A lot of sweet potatoes. Like we never have regular potatoes. They're always sweet potatoes. So those are some and I looked them all up, and you know, if you look at the nutritional value and the calories, sweet potatoes and couscous, they're a bit lower than regular potatoes and rice. So that's definitely something that I've gotten from everything. So that's my next tip. Whoa.
And you're probably going to have a lot of recipes, not with the HelloFresh, but like in your little box that just say, you know, like add garlic salt or garlic powder or onion powder or anything. Use the real thing. You won't regret it. You don't have to use as much, and well, actually you use a bunch, but it actually just makes it taste better. I made a pizza sauce yesterday, and I supplemented the onion powder and the garlic powder with the real things. It turned out amazing.
It was really good. And I will say that HelloFresh, I don't know why I really need like a HelloFresh logo to show. But HelloFresh sends you peeled garlic. Like it's already peeled. Peeling takes a long time. We actually got this with our Garlic Master, and you put the whole clove in and you rub it together like that, and it takes
It actually strips the skin off
peel,
of it.
the peel,
Yeah,
the
peel
skin.
off
I don't
of
know
it.
what you call that. Another thing we never did before HelloFresh is we never did anything with lemons or lemon zesting. And I would say that most of our recipes either have lemons or limes, and they require a zest. So we did learn a bit about zesters. When we first started, we had a really like kind of a zester with the holes were too small, and every time we were zesting, it would just be like mush. But now we got a zester where the holes are kind of bigger. We found this at Marshall's, and now we're getting the right zest, and it was taking forever. Like the old zester were like, what's going on? And then it was just like a mush. We were definitely using the wrong kind of grater, but that's something I've learned is I used to wonder like, why do people use lemon zest for anything? That's just weird.
And we find that lemon, like the zest, like the little bit of skin, is actually almost more potent than the juice. Like in the squeezing of the lemon and lime, zest really
Yeah, just a
perks it up.
little bit of zest goes a long way. So that's something I've learned.
I also find, you know, like with these HelloFresh, you know, like we kind of take our time, you know, putting it on the plate and making it look nice. Kind of gives you a little sense of pride, and you get better at it, and then you're actually just kind of, you know, plating things all real nice, and it's kind of weird. Like you don't just throw it on a plate. Blah, blah.
Yeah. Plating is like, it's kind of weird is that, and of course I put this on my Instagram, so I want it to look kind of pretty. I don't put it on my feed, I put it on my stories, but the plating, it kind of gives me a goal to work towards. Like, okay, this is what I want it to look like, and I feel like most of the time, mine looks better. And I usually say that on Instagram too. One kind of painful lesson I've learned is that, especially when you're dealing with cast iron, the handle gets hot. I mean, when you're working with a regular pan, usually you can grab the handle and it's really not that hot. But cast iron, the heat spreads everywhere. And one day I did burn my hand pretty bad. So we've gotten these like silicone covers for handles. And I mean, it's happened to me with regular pans, but it's just like always having those pot holders nearby and handle holders. That's something I've learned that I never really thought about before, because we didn't cook that much with cast iron, but we do now, because a lot of times you cook something on the stove and then you have to take it off the stove and put it in the oven to finish it. Especially when we do a lot of Italian orzo recipes, and they always want you to like sprinkle Parmesan cheese on top, and then it like gets this nice crust, and you always have to cook it like in a cast iron skillet and put it in the oven. I think we've done that a couple times now, and yeah, but this is a lifesaver, just being aware of it. You're doing portion control.
Oh, okay. My turn.
We just talked about this.
Sorry.
Just talked about it.
I don't know if you can tell with the lens or whatever, but I'm kind of a big fella. I do eat a lot. I could eat a lot, and the HelloFresh kind of took my portion controls. Kind of tested me on that. We'll
I'm gonna
say.
stand like behind you so I look way skinnier than you.
Yeah, it took a lot to getting used to, but like the first week, we would have our dinner HelloFresh, and I'm just like, oh God, I got to eat something else. I'm so hungry. And now, like if I don't get quite enough, I got a few snacks, like celery or whatever, for that. I don't eat as much as I used to after the meals, so it's something to get used to, but expect it.
We were definitely eating too much, and that's why we're overweight. For years, we did different diets, like a paleo diet and a low carb diet, and you just kind of get tired of dieting. And I made the mental shift. I'm a teacher, and this year I was just like, what if I change this school year? And I was really, kind of focused on me and my health, instead of like, oh, I can't wait for the next break. What if I made every day about me getting healthier? And this just kind of rolled into it. First, I started working out every day, and then after a couple weeks of that, I saw a HelloFresh ad or whatever, and I decided to try it out, and it's really changed our point of view. And I knew the whole time, because with low carb diet, like you can eat a lot of food and still lose weight, but it does get tiring. I mean, we've probably done that for a couple years. I think ever since we met. I remember the first time we tried it. Not when we first met, but probably about like 5-6 years ago. I remember we tried it for the first time, like, let's just barbecue food on the grill, just meat, and just eat meat and vegetables, and and
I was into it.
Yeah, he loved it.
Steak all the time?
He had never
Okay.
really tried low carb, and he loved it, but I am definitely more of a whole meal kind of gal. Like, I love having side dishes. I love mixing things up, and like he can just eat meat or just a hamburger and be totally happy. But I need a vegetable and a starch, and that's just the way I grew up, and I'm really weird like that. So I have never been happier on like a healthy eating plan than these HelloFresh meals and Martha Stewart meals, because I'm getting everything I crave every day. Oh, sorry about that. Sorry.
Yeah, with a low carb, I was eating mostly meat and cheese. I'd throw in a vegetable, just so she wouldn't get mad at me. But with the HelloFresh, it's a nice balance. Everything's a nice balance. Not everything has a meat in it. Sometimes we have vegetarian meals.
That's one thing.
And they're so good, I can't tell.
Yeah. That's going to be my next. Well, I might as well just throw it in right now. I was going to talk about how we're eating a lot more vegetables than we ever had before, and I never pictured myself a vegan or a vegetarian. It's like never anything. Like, I've always thought of like meat, protein, good, and I've just been kind of weird like that. Even though I've heard a lot of people having success eating vegetarian, vegan for ethical reasons or health reasons, it just really never appealed to me. And now I'm ordering, I would say 2 or 3 vegetarian meals a week, which is incredible. Like I think back to last year where we're eating all this meat on low carb every day. And now I'm having nights of like, we have a lot of Mediterranean dishes with just tons of vegetables and so good. It's way better than any meat dish I've ever had. So I am kind of a fan now of really delicious vegetarian dishes, which I never thought would happen with HelloFresh. Never. I didn't think you'd like it either.
And I also think that challenging yourself. The other day, she challenged me to make pizza from
It was
scratch.
yesterday.
Was it yet? Okay.
We already ate the pizza.
Well, I don't know when people are going to watch this.
Okay, well, it's going to be on there forever, so.
Till the end of time. Yeah, she challenged me to make pizza from scratch. I can make dough all day long, you know. I've worked at a pizza place before, I've done it before. I've never made my own sauce before. It's always come out of a can, and I call it my own when I just dump a few spices in it and, call it my own. But I've never stewed my own tomatoes. I don't know how to make tomato paste. It sounds
I
complicated.
think you can learn how to do it. If you can stew your own tomatoes for a delicious sauce, you can learn how to make tomato paste.
It's like tomato concentrate. So
I think you could learn how to do it. I'm just saying, I have faith in you that you could learn how to make tomato paste.
anyway, yeah, I made my own tomato sauce. It turned out really good. I made also a white sauce pizza with a garlic chicken pizza, and I actually used a recipe from the Martha Stewart recipe. It was this.
It was like an Alfredo sauce.
Yeah, it was like an Alfredo sauce, but it was made with Greek yogurt and cream cheese, and melted it all together. And
Yeah, no heavy cream, no butter. It's like yogurt and cream cheese. And oh man, it's really delicious.
Mwah.
It was very good. I would compare that chicken garlic pizza to the same one they have at Papa Murphy's. There's like a chicken garlic pizza you can get at Papa. If you're a fat kid watching this right now, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Are you getting hungry?
It tasted exactly like that pizza from Papa Murphy's. It was amazing. It was better.
I agree.
Okay, one of my last tips for you, I was trying to think of like what we use the most or like what I have to replace from the HelloFresh boxes. Like sometimes you get food. We live really far away from civilization. Sometimes we get food that isn't that good. We're also really busy. We travel and have to leave town a lot. So sometimes we have like a HelloFresh bag sitting in the fridge for 7, 8, 9 days. And the produce sometimes goes a little bad. So far though, I've only had to replace green onions and zucchini. I also find that a lot of the recipes with green onions and zucchini, I could be eating a lot more of those two things. And those are things I never bought at the store before. Never. So now every time I go to the store, I grab a couple zucchinis, I grab a bag of green onions. It's so cheap. I mean, it's like $3 or $4. And to be able to double the zucchini in a meal, it's so low in calorie and it's so delicious. So that's one of my big like exact food tips.
I think my favoriteest thing of all is having somebody to cook with. We could sit and watch Netflix all the live long day and, become zombies. But when you're cooking with somebody, your kids or your wife, your husband, your mom, whatever, cooking together, some days, we get ornery, but, we always cook and
some days we do fight, but I think we're becoming better communicators, and it's like a new hobby for us because now when we go shopping, like we go to the kitchen section first, and we're like, what would be good for us to use here? Like we're always going right to the kitchen section, and so now it's like this weird hobby where I would almost compare it to a sport. And our new shows on TV, all cooking shows, and it all just started with one box that we got in the mail with a coupon. I'm going to put my coupon code down below in this video. If anyone wants to use it, you just click it and you get $40 off your first box. And that's all what it started with. I clicked one of those coupon codes, got this box, and since then, we both lost, I know, at least 15 pounds each in just a couple months. We have a new hobby to do together, and it's hard because we do live far away from like any big cities, And a lot of the people around here that
Any
do
cities.
yeah, any cities at all. Like we live 77 miles from like a Walmart. So anyway, a lot of the people around here, like they do a lot of outdoor sports that we're not really into because like I know I have really bad allergies and I don't really like being outside all the time. So this has just been a really cool indoor hobby. And we've actually talked about like in our marriage, and our relationship, we've been together like what? 7, 8 years now, going on 8, give or take.
Take 10.
We can't even count anymore. But we've talked, we've gotten in those ruts and we're like, oh, what do we do together? And we've tried going on walks every day and playing with our dogs, taking them to the park, walking around the block. I mean, there's only so much of that you can do. And I've had crazy ideas like, what if we set up a pinball arcade in the back room, or we started doing dart tournaments, or like I keep trying to think of like indoor activities we can do. And really, I mean, this is the most obvious one. Just cooking dinner together every night. And it actually doesn't cost us any extra money because we got to eat. So it's just been like a fun hobby. I think it's definitely improving our communication. It's giving us something to look forward to because usually every night for dinner, we would come home exhausted from work and we'd be like, what are we going to eat? And we'd go to a restaurant. And we only have 5 or 6 restaurants where we live, and we really only like 2 or 3 of them. So it was like we were going to these restaurants several times a week, gaining weight, no energy. And now it's like even when we're feeling glum, like, oh boy, we don't want to get out of our chair. It's like we get pushed into it. Like the other night, I think we were going to order pizza and I was like, let's just get up. Let's just do a HelloFresh bag. They're in the fridge. They're already there. Pizza we're going to have to wait for. We've already paid for this bag. Let's just do it. And we did it and it got us out of our funk quite a bit. We start to have fun. We listen to music while we're cooking. It gets us up and moving around. So just from kind of 2 people that are overweight and have been stuck in ruts for many years, this has been a total lifesaver. So anyway, if you want to try it out yourself, I can't promise you that your husband is going to cook for you like mine does, or cook with you, or look this good in an apron. But you might want to.
They should.
If you want to try it out, you can click the link below. It's $40 off HelloFresh. The other boxes, I did kind of get mad at Plated, and I don't have a coupon for them, but you can Google them. They have a lot of organic and like healthy eating dishes. They're kind of a little more expensive. We also do a lot of Martha Stewart Marley Spoon, and she doesn't really have many coupon codes, a little bit higher end food, but all the recipes have been pretty good. Just my favorite overall is HelloFresh because I feel like they have a lot, just kind of appeals to me, their menu that they put out every week. Whereas Martha Stewart, it's a clear no on like, there'll be 10 dishes and I'll be like no to 6 or 7. But with HelloFresh, I actually have a hard time deciding what I want to try. Just for my palate, I like HelloFresh. So, coupon code below, and we'll be back. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Whack! Anyway, again, I am the Whimsical Teacher, and this is my husband, the Whimsical Hubby. You can find us both on Instagram. I am the_whimsical_teacher. Those are actual little dashes. And what is your Instagram?
The Whimsical Hobby. Don't follow me. Don't follow me.
He does not want any followers, which I think is hilarious because he just hit 100 followers yesterday.
I only make videos when she is at work and I keep the cooking show going, and then I tag her. And then people follow me and message me, and
it's
okay.
fun. It's fun.
Don't follow me. I'm boring.
Follow him. It's fun. Okay, try it again. Thank you for doing this show with me. I do appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me, and I will be on anytime you ask me because I'm not far.
We might need to get you your own channel soon.
No.
I think you could do it.
I'll just make videos.
I think
for
you're
your
very
channel.
photogenic on the camera.
Think so?
I think so. I think you could have your own channel. I think people love you. Bye, everybody. Thank you for tuning in.